Have you ever felt a whisper in your soul, a question echoing through the corridors of your heart? What mysteries lie hidden in the pages of ancient scripture? What battles rage in the unseen realms? And what truths have been veiled since before the dawn of humanity? If you have ever pondered the secrets of heaven, the cosmic struggle in the spiritual world, or what truly transpired before the first human breath, you are not alone. You are part of a generation chosen to seek answers beyond the surface, to hunger for wisdom that transcends the ordinary. Before we embark on this profound journey, I invite you to join our growing community. Like this video, subscribe to the Chosen God's Messages, and comment 777 below if you've ever wondered about these mysteries. Your insight and voice are vital threads in the tapestry of seekers who refuse to settle for easy answers. Let us begin calmly, with hearts open and minds attuned to the quiet, persistent questions that shape our existence. Today, we delve into one of the most enigmatic stories woven into the fabric of the Bible, the tale of Moses' sons, Gersham and Eleazar. Moses, the mighty leader, the prophet who parted the Red Sea and stood before Pharaoh, is a figure whose legacy looms large. Yet, in the shadow of his greatness, his sons seem to fade into obscurity. Why were their names, their stories, almost erased from history? What divine purpose might be hidden in their silence? Imagine standing at the threshold of revelation, where every detail in Scripture is a doorway to deeper understanding. The Bible, a living document, is filled with narratives that at first glance may seem incomplete or mysterious. But as Psalm P declares, "Open my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of your law." With this spirit, we turn to the story of Moses' sons, not merely to recount facts, but to seek the wondrous, the hidden, the profound. The journey begins in the wilderness of Midian, a place of exile and transformation. Moses, once a prince of Egypt, now a fugitive, finds refuge in the house of Jethro, the priest of Midian. Here, stripped of power and privilege, Moses is shaped by solitude and humility. He marries Zipporah, Jethro's daughter, and becomes a shepherd, a far cry from the palatial halls of Pharaoh. It is in this quiet, unremarkable life that Moses fathers two sons, each bearing a name heavy with meaning. Gersham, whose name means a stranger there, is a living testament to Moses' sense of alienation. His name is not just a label, but a window into the soul of a man who has lost his place in the world. Exodus 2:22 records, Zipporah gave birth to a son, and Moses named him Gersham, saying, "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land." This is more than a statement of geography. It is an admission of spiritual and emotional exile. Moses, once at the center of power, now stands at the margins, a sojourner in both land and spirit. Eleazar, the second son, is named, "My God is my help," a declaration of faith forged in adversity. Exodus 18:4 reveals, "The other was named Eleazar, for he said, 'My father's God was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh.'" In this name, we hear the echo of deliverance, the assurance that even in the wilderness, God's presence is a sustaining force. Psalm 46:1 affirms, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." For Moses, Eleazar's name is a living reminder that divine aid is never far, even when human strength fails. But why, then, does the biblical narrative fall silent about these sons? Why are their lives shrouded in mystery, their roles seemingly insignificant compared to the descendants of Aaron, Moses' brother, who inherit the priesthood and a place of prominence in Israel's history? Is this omission accidental, or is there a deeper, intentional purpose at work? As we immerse ourselves in this question, let us slow our pace, allowing the weight of the mystery to settle. Sometimes, the most profound truths are found not in what is said, but in what is left unsaid. The silence surrounding Gersham and Eleazar invites us to consider the hidden roles in God's grand design. In a world obsessed with visibility and recognition, their story whispers of the power and dignity of humble service, a faithfulness that flourishes away from the spotlight. Consider the words of Micah 6:8. "He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Perhaps the obscurity of Moses' sons is not a mark of insignificance, but a lesson in humility and trust. Their absence from the center stage may be a divine strategy, a reminder that God's purposes often unfold in ways that defy human expectations. As we journey deeper, let us remember that every life, every story, has a place in the tapestry of God's plan. The narrative of Gersham and Eleazar, though faint, is a thread woven with intention. Their silence is not emptiness, but an invitation to look beyond the obvious, to seek the hidden treasures of wisdom. Proverbs 25:2 declares, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings." So, as we stand at the threshold of this exploration, let us embrace the mystery. Let us be patient, attentive, and open to the lessons that emerge from the shadows. The journey ahead promises not only answers, but transformation, a deeper understanding of God's ways, and perhaps a new perspective on our own place in His story. If your heart is stirred by these questions, if you long to uncover the mysteries of heaven and the hidden battles of the spiritual realm, remember to like this video, subscribe to The Chosen, God's Messages, and comment 777 below. Your voice matters. You are part of a chosen generation seeking truth beyond the surface. Together, let us embark on this journey, one section at a time, allowing each step to draw us closer to the heart of the divine mystery. Let us settle our hearts and minds as we move deeper into this journey, allowing the ancient echoes of the wilderness to guide us. Imagine Moses, once a prince of Egypt, now walking the rugged paths of Midian, a land of both exile and quiet transformation. It is here, far from the grandeur of Pharaoh's courts, that the story of Gersham and Eleazar truly begins to unfold. Not in the noise of public acclaim, but in the stillness of obscurity. The wilderness is not merely a backdrop, but a crucible. In this place of solitude, Moses learns the rhythms of humility, the patience of tending sheep, and the art of listening for the divine in the silence. Each day, the sun rises over barren hills, and Moses, staff in hand, leads his flock through the valleys. The grandeur of his former life is now a distant memory, replaced by the simple joys and challenges of shepherding. This is not the story of a fallen hero, but of a man being shaped for a purpose greater than himself. In the quiet of Midian, Moses becomes a husband and a father. Gersham, his firstborn, is a living reminder of displacement, his very name a testimony to the ache of being a stranger in a strange land. Every time Moses calls his son, he is reminded of the journey from privilege to humility, from certainty to wandering. Yet, in this season of exile, something profound is taking place beneath the surface. The wilderness, often feared and avoided, becomes the very ground where character is forged and faith is refined. Eleazar, the second son, arrives as a declaration of hope. His name, "My God is my help," is a banner of faith raised high in the midst of uncertainty. Moses, reflecting on his escape from Egypt and the perils he faced, chooses to mark this child's life with a name that speaks of divine rescue. In doing so, he affirms a truth that transcends circumstance, that God's help is not reserved for moments of glory but is present in the shadows, in the hidden corners of our lives. As we reflect on these names, we are invited to consider our own seasons of wilderness. Have you ever found yourself in a place where the familiar has faded, where the future is unclear, and where your identity seems to hang in the balance? The story of Moses in Midian is not just an ancient tale, it is a mirror held up to our own journeys. In the wilderness, we are stripped of illusions, and it is there that we discover who we truly are. The silence surrounding Gersham and Eleazar in the biblical narrative is not an oversight but an invitation. Their absence from the spotlight challenges our assumptions about significance. In a world obsessed with recognition, we are reminded that the most important work often happens away from the gaze of others. The wilderness, with its quiet trials and hidden victories, becomes the proving ground for souls destined for greatness. Consider the paradox. Moses, the greatest prophet, is called not in the palace but in the wilderness. His sons, though born into a legacy of leadership, are shaped by the same quiet strength that sustained their father. Their story whispers to all who feel unseen, assuring us that our worth is not measured by public acclaim but by faithfulness. In the ordinary dot, as you listen to this, let your heart rest in the knowledge that your journey, no matter how hidden or humble, is seen and valued. The wilderness is not a place of abandonment, but of preparation. It is here that God meets us, not with fanfare, but with gentle guidance, shaping us for purposes we may not yet understand. Let us pause and breathe, allowing the lessons of Midian to sink deep. The story of Moses' sons is a testament to the power of obscurity. the beauty of hidden faith, and the quiet assurance that every life, no matter how unnoticed, has a place in the grand design. If this resonates with you, remember to like and subscribe to The Chosen God's Messages, and consider sharing your reflections in the comments. Your journey matters, and together we are discovering the profound truths that lie beneath the surface. That, as we continue, may we embrace the wilderness, trusting that in the silence, in the waiting, and in the unseen, we are being prepared for something far greater than we can imagine. The journey is not over, it has only just begun. Let us journey further into the quiet shadows of the narrative, where the lives of Gersham and Eleazar become even more enigmatic. As Moses steps into his divine calling to confront Pharaoh and lead the Israelites out of Egypt, a subtle but profound shift occurs. The focus of the biblical story moves away from his family, and the names of his sons begin to fade from the forefront. This silence is not accidental. It is a deliberate pause, a sacred space in which deeper truths are waiting to be discovered. Imagine the weight Moses must have carried as he prepared to face the greatest empire of his time. The call from the burning bush was more than a summons to greatness. It was an invitation into a journey of faith, fraught with uncertainty and sacrifice. As he gathered his wife Zipporah and his sons for the journey back to Egypt, every step was laden with meaning. The staff in his hand was not just a symbol of authority, but a reminder of the transformation that had taken place in the wilderness. Yet, as the narrative unfolds, Gersham and Eleazar recede into the background. Their presence is acknowledged in a few brief verses, but their voices are not heard, their actions not recorded. This absence invites us to reflect on the nature of calling and the cost of obedience. Sometimes, the pursuit of a divine mission requires letting go of personal desires, even the desire for one's family to share in the spotlight. There is a moment, shrouded in mystery, that reveals the tension between divine purpose and familial responsibility. On the journey to Egypt, a dramatic event occurs at a lodging place along the way. The Lord confronts Moses, threatening his life, because the covenant of circumcision had not been observed. In a swift and decisive act, Zipporah circumcises their son and touches Moses' feet with the blood, uttering words that echo with both pain and devotion. In that instant, the covenant is restored, and Moses is spared. This episode, though brief, is a powerful reminder that even those chosen by God are not exempt from the demands of obedience. Consider the courage of Zipporah in this moment. Her actions, though rarely celebrated, are essential to the unfolding of God's plan. She steps into the breach, ensuring that her family is aligned with the divine covenant. In doing so, she reminds us that the work of God is often sustained by those who labor in obscurity, whose faithfulness is known only to heaven. After this event, Gersham and Eleazar are not mentioned as Moses confronts Pharaoh or leads the Israelites through the Red Sea. Their absence during these pivotal moments raises questions that resonate with anyone who has ever felt sidelined or overlooked. Why were Moses' sons not present during the great miracles of the Exodus? Was it a matter of safety, a decision to protect them from the dangers of the journey? Or was there a deeper purpose, a divine strategy that required them to remain in the background? Some traditions suggest that Zipporah and the boys returned to Midian, seeking refuge with Jethro until the dangers had passed. This possibility highlights the tension between public mission and private responsibility, a balance that many leaders, both ancient and modern, must navigate. Moses was called to lead a nation, but he was also a husband and a father. The silence surrounding his sons is a poignant reminder that the path of obedience often involves sacrifice, not just for the one called, but for those who love them. As we contemplate the quiet withdrawal of Gersham and Eleazar from the main stage, we are invited to consider the value of hiddenness. In a world that prizes visibility and acclaim, their story whispers of a different kind of greatness, the greatness found in humility, in supporting roles, in faithfulness that does not seek recognition. It is a greatness that echoes through the Psalms and the teachings of Jesus, who declared that the last shall be first, and the greatest among you shall be the servant of all. Let us pause and reflect. Are there moments in your own life when you have felt unseen, your contributions unnoticed? The story of Moses' sons assures us that God sees what others overlook. Every act of obedience, every sacrifice made in the shadows, is precious in His sight. The tapestry of divine purpose is woven not only with the threads of public triumph, but also with the quiet faithfulness of those who serve behind the scenes. As we continue this journey, remember that your story matters, even if it is not told in the pages of history. Like Gersham and Eleazar, you may find yourself in the background, but your presence is essential to the unfolding of God's plan. Let this truth settle in your heart. Greatness in the kingdom of God is not measured by applause, but by faithfulness. If these reflections resonate with you, consider supporting this journey by liking and subscribing to the Chosen God's messages. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice is a vital part of this community of seekers. Together, we are uncovering the mysteries that lie beneath the surface, discovering that even in silence, there is profound meaning and purpose. Let us move forward, gently, into the heart of the story, a space where silence speaks and the unseen becomes a canvas for contemplation. The narrative of Gersham and Eleazar, though muted in the biblical record, begins to resonate with a deeper significance when viewed through the lens of legacy, inheritance, and the mysterious workings of divine purpose. Picture the wilderness after the Exodus, the Israelites encamped at the foot of Sinai, the air heavy with the anticipation of revelation. Here, Moses stands as the mediator between God and his people, receiving the law, witnessing miracles, and guiding a nation through uncertainty. Yet, in the midst of these monumental events, the presence of his sons is only a faint echo. Their names are not inscribed among the leaders, their deeds unrecorded. In the annals of Israel's journey, this absence, far from diminishing their importance, invites us to ponder the nature of spiritual inheritance and the ways in which God's plans are woven through both what is seen and what is hidden. Consider for a moment the difference between Moses and his brother Aaron. Aaron's sons Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar are given roles of prominence, inheriting the priesthood and serving at the altar. Their lineage becomes central to Israel's worship and spiritual leadership. In contrast, Moses' sons are not called to the same public ministry. This distinction is not a slight, but a revelation. God's calling is not a matter of birthright or human expectation, but of divine appointment. The story reminds us that each person's path is uniquely crafted, and that greatness in God's eyes is not measured by titles or positions, but by faithfulness to one's calling. Let us pause and reflect on the meaning of legacy. In the world's eyes, legacy is often defined by what is visibly accomplishments, accolades, recognition. But in the divine economy, legacy is measured by obedience, humility, and the quiet influence that shapes generations. Gersham and Eleazar, though absent from the center stage, are not forgotten in the tapestry of God's story. Their lives, lived in the shadows, remind us that the most enduring legacies are often those that are hidden from view. There is a profound lesson here for all who feel overlooked or insignificant. Perhaps you have wondered if your life matters, if your contributions are seen, if your story will be remembered. The silence surrounding Moses' sons whispers a gentle assurance: you are not forgotten. Every act of faithfulness, every moment of quiet service is treasured by God. The Psalms declare that God records our tears, numbers our days, and delights in the details of our lives. In the same way, the stories of Gersham and Eleazar are woven into the fabric of redemption, their significance known fully only to the one who sees all. As we contemplate the legacy of Moses' family, we are invited to examine our own. What kind of inheritance are we leaving for those who come after us? Is it one of public achievement or of quiet faithfulness? Are we building monuments to our own glory or sowing seeds of humility, love, and trust in God? The story of Gersham and Eleazar challenges us to redefine success not as the world defines it, but as God sees it. Let us also consider the role of choice in the transmission of legacy. The descendants of Moses, as the narrative later reveals, did not always walk in the ways of their forefather. The story of Jonathan, son of Gersham, who served as a priest for the tribe of Dan in a setting marked by idolatry, is a sobering reminder that spiritual inheritance is not automatic. Each generation must choose for itself whom it will serve, and the path of faithfulness must be walked anew by every soul. This truth invites us to humility and vigilance. No matter how rich our heritage, we cannot rest on the faith of those who came before us. We must make our own choices, cultivate our own relationship with God, and embrace the unique calling placed upon our lives. The silence of Gersham and Eleazar is not a void, but a space for each of us to step into our own story, to listen for the still, small voice that calls us forward. As we draw this section to a close, let us do so with a spirit of gratitude and openness. The journey of Moses' sons, though largely hidden, is a mirror for our own lives. It reminds us that God values what is unseen, that every life has purpose, and that legacy is built, not in the glare of public acclaim, but in the quiet, faithful moments that shape eternity. If these reflections have stirred something within you, remember to like and subscribe to the Chosen God's Messages. Share your thoughts in the comments, for your journey is a vital part of this unfolding story. Together, we are learning to honor the hidden, to embrace the silence, and to trust that in God's grand design, nothing is ever truly forgotten. Let us continue, step by step, into the mystery, allowing each moment to draw us closer to the heart of the divine. Let us continue our journey, moving ever deeper into the quiet yet profound lessons woven into the story of Moses' sons. As the narrative of Gersham and Eleazar recedes from the spotlight, we are invited to reflect on the nature of calling, purpose, and the unseen hand of providence that guides each life. In the silence surrounding these two sons, there emerges a question that resonates with every soul. What does it mean to serve faithfully when the world is not watching? Imagine the Israelites in the wilderness, a nation in transition, led by Moses through trials, miracles, and revelations. The camp is alive with stories of deliverance, yet within this vast congregation, the sons of Moses remained largely anonymous. Their journey, though hidden, is not without meaning. It is in the quiet corners of history that some of the most significant spiritual work is accomplished. Theirs is a story of invisible obedience, a theme that echoes throughout the scriptures and reverberates in the lives of countless individuals today. Consider for a moment the many figures in sacred history whose names are seldom mentioned, yet whose faithfulness was essential to the unfolding of God's plan. The midwives in Egypt who defied Pharaoh's orders, the unnamed servants who carried out acts of kindness, the quiet intercessors whose prayers shaped destinies are the hidden heroes, the ones whose stories are known fully only to God. Gersham and Eleazar belong to this sacred company. Their absence from the center stage is not a mark of insignificance, but a testament to the value of silent service. In a world that prizes recognition and applause, the narrative of Moses' sons challenges us to reconsider our understanding of greatness. True greatness, as revealed in the teachings of Scripture, is not found in public acclaim, but in the steadfastness of a heart devoted to God's purposes. The Psalms speak of those who walk blamelessly and do what is right, whose lives are a quiet offering, a fragrant incense rising before the throne. Theirs is a legacy that endures, not because it is celebrated by men, but because it is honored by God. Let us pause and ponder. Have you ever felt that your contributions go unnoticed, that your efforts are lost in the shadows? The story of Gersham and Eleazar is a gentle reminder that every act of faithfulness matters. The unseen sacrifices, the prayers whispered in solitude, the kindness extended without expectation of reward. These are the building blocks of an enduring legacy. In the economy of heaven, nothing is wasted. Every moment of obedience, no matter how small, is gathered and treasured by the one who sees all. Reflect, too, on the freedom that comes from releasing the need for recognition. When we let go of the desire to be seen and celebrated, we open ourselves to a deeper joy of serving for the sake of love alone. This is the path walked by Moses' sons and by all who choose to embrace the hidden life. It is a path marked by humility, trust, and a quiet confidence that God's purposes are being fulfilled, even when we cannot see the outcome. Season of reflection, may you find comfort in the knowledge that your story, like that of Gersham and Eleazar, is held in the heart of God. You are not forgotten. Your faithfulness is not overlooked. The tapestry of your life, with all its hidden threads, is being woven into a masterpiece of grace and redemption. If these words have touched your heart, consider supporting this journey by liking and subscribing to the Chosen God's Messages. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your voice is a vital part of this community. Together, we are learning to honor the unseen, to embrace the silence, and to trust that every life, no matter how hidden, has a place in the grand design. Let us move forward, step by step, allowing the lessons of the quiet ones to shape our understanding of purpose and calling. The journey continues, and with each section, we draw closer to the heart of the mystery, a mystery that invites us all to find meaning in the hidden places, and to rest in the assurance that we are deeply known and loved. As we continue this contemplative journey, let us slow our pace and listen to the quiet wisdom that emerges from the shadows of history. The story of Gersham and Eleazar, though nearly silent in the biblical record, invites us to reflect on the nature of destiny, the mystery of divine selection, and the profound reality that not all are called to the same path, even within the same family. Imagine the scene. The Israelites have left Egypt, miracles have unfolded, and the dwelling place of God among his people stands at the center of the camp. Priests are consecrated, rituals are established, and the spiritual life of a nation is being shaped for generations to come. In this sacred moment, the descendants of Aaron, Moses' brother, are chosen to serve as priests, to stand before God on behalf of the people, to offer sacrifices and intercede. Yet Moses' own sons are not given this role. Their names are not called. Their lineage does not inherit the priesthood. This distinction is not a mark of failure or rejection, but a revelation of the mystery of God's calling. It reminds us that divine purpose is not determined by human expectation, nor by family ties, nor by proximity to greatness. The story of Moses' sons teaches us that each calling is unique, each destiny carefully crafted by the hand of the Creator. Some are called to the visible work of leadership, others to the hidden work of support, prayer, and quiet faithfulness. Let us consider the humility required to accept a path that is different from what others might expect. Gersham and Eleazar, born into the family of Israel's greatest prophet, could have been tempted to compare their roles to those of their cousins, to measure their worth by the standards of public recognition. Yet, their silence in the narrative speaks to a deeper trust, a willingness to accept the place assigned by God, to serve without resentment, and to find meaning in the path uniquely given to them. This lesson is echoed throughout the scriptures. The Apostle Paul, in his letter to the Corinthians, describes the body of Christ as composed of many parts, each with its own function. The eye cannot say to the hand, "I have no need of you," nor again the head to the feet, "I have no need of you." Every part is essential, and the parts that seem less honorable are given special honor. In the same way, the story of Moses' sons reminds us that there is no hierarchy of value in God's kingdom. The quiet roles, the hidden sacrifices, the unnoticed acts of faithfulness are just as precious as the most celebrated deeds. Pause for a moment and let this truth settle into your heart. Perhaps you have felt overlooked or wondered why your path seems less significant than that of others. The narrative of Gersham and Eleazar invites you to lay down the burden of comparison and to embrace the dignity of your own calling. Your life, your story, your faithfulness, these are seen and cherished by God, even if the world never takes notice. Consider also the freedom that comes from trusting God's wisdom in the distribution of roles. Moses, despite his unparalleled leadership, did not seek to elevate his sons above their appointed place. He accepted that the priesthood would belong to Aaron's line, and in doing so, modeled a humility that is rare among leaders. This is a lesson for all who are entrusted with influence or authority. True greatness is found not in securing privilege for ourselves or our families, but in surrendering to God's design, trusting that his purposes are always higher and wiser than our own. As we reflect on these themes, let us remember that the silence of Gersham and Eleazar is not emptiness, but invitation. It is an open space in the story, a place where we are called to listen, to trust, and to find our own place in the unfolding tapestry of God's plan. Their story is a gentle reminder that legacy is not measured by visibility, but by fidelity, not by the acclaim of men, but by the quiet approval of the one who sees in secret. If these reflections have stirred something within you, I invite you once again to support this journey. Like and subscribe to the Chosen God's Messages, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your story, your questions, your insights are part of this sacred conversation. Together, let us continue to walk gently through the mysteries, honoring the hidden, embracing the silence, and trusting that every life, no matter how quiet, is woven with purpose and grace. Let us continue, allowing the gentle current of this story to draw us further into its depths. The silence surrounding Gersham and Eleazar, sons of Moses, is not merely an absence, but an invitation, a space in which we are called to reflect on the nature of influence, the legacy of faith, and the mysterious ways in which God shapes destinies beyond human understanding. Imagine the camp of Israel, a multitude journeying through the wilderness, each tribe and family finding its place under the vast expanse of desert sky. In the center stands the tabernacle, a visible sign of God's presence among his people. Around it, the Levites are set apart for sacred duties, yet even among them, roles are distinctly assigned. Aaron's descendants are chosen to serve as priests, while the rest, including the line of Moses, serve in supporting roles. This divine arrangement is not arbitrary. It is a reflection of a greater spiritual principle, that every calling, whether seen or unseen, is essential in the tapestry of God's purpose. Consider the quiet strength required to serve faithfully. In the shadows, Gersham and Eleazar did not inherit the public mantle of priesthood, nor did their names become synonymous with the great miracles or leadership of Israel. Yet, their place in the story is not diminished by this. Instead, it highlights a profound truth. The value of a life is not measured by public recognition, but by the integrity with which one fulfills their unique calling. Pause for a moment and reflect on your own journey. How often do we measure our worth by comparison, longing for the roles or recognition given to others? The story of Moses' sons gently redirects our gaze. It reminds us that God's design is not a hierarchy of importance, but a symphony of diverse callings, each note vital to the harmony of the whole. The Apostle Paul writes of the body, how every part, whether visible or hidden, contributes to the health and purpose of the whole. In the same way, the quiet lives of Gersham and Eleazar are honored not for their visibility, but for their faithfulness. There is also a lesson here about the freedom that comes from releasing the need for control. Moses, though the greatest prophet of Israel, did not seek to secure a legacy of power or privilege for his sons. He accepted the boundaries of his own calling and trusted God with the destinies of his children. This act of surrender is a model for all who hold positions of influence or leadership. It is a reminder that our legacy is not built by grasping for status, but by entrusting our lives and the lives of those we love into the hands of a wise and loving God. As we dwell in this space of contemplation, let us also consider the hidden impact of a life lived in quiet obedience. The influence of Gersham and Eleazar may not be recorded in the annals of history, but it is not lost in the heart of God. Their presence, their faithfulness, and their willingness to serve in the roles assigned to them are a testament to the enduring power of humility. In a world that often equates greatness with visibility, their story is a gentle counterpoint, a call to embrace the beauty of serving where we are placed, trusting that God's purposes are being fulfilled, even when we cannot see the full picture. If you find yourself in a season of hiddenness, take comfort in the knowledge that you are not overlooked. Your quiet acts of love, your steadfastness in the ordinary, your faithfulness in the unseen moments, all are precious in the sight of God. The story of Moses' sons assures us that no life is insignificant, no calling too small, and no act of obedience wasted. As we move forward, let us carry this assurance with us. Like and subscribe to the Chosen God's Messages if these reflections resonate with you, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your journey, your questions, and your insights are part of this unfolding story. Together, we are learning to honor the hidden, to trust the silence, and to rest in the knowledge that every life, woven by the hand of God, is a thread of purpose and grace in the grand tapestry of creation. Let us continue, moving gently into the next layer of this unfolding story, a story where the silence surrounding Gersham and Eleazar becomes a profound meditation on the meaning of spiritual legacy and the enduring mystery of God's purposes. As we reflect on the journey of Moses' sons, we are invited to consider the impact of a life that is largely hidden from the world, yet deeply significant in the eyes of the divine. Imagine the Israelites, still wandering in the wilderness, their days marked by manna from heaven, and their nights illuminated by the pillar of fire. In this sacred landscape, every family, every tribe, every individual finds their place in the vast tapestry of God's people. The descendants of Aaron, Moses' brother, are established as priests, their roles defined and celebrated. In contrast, Gersham and Eleazar remain in the background, their stories not inscribed in the annals of public history, but quietly woven into the fabric of their family and tribe. This contrast is not a matter of neglect, but a revelation of a deeper truth, that God's purposes are not always aligned with human expectations or measures of success. The silence surrounding Moses' sons is an invitation to embrace the mystery of divine calling, a mystery that often unfolds in ways we do not anticipate or fully understand. Consider for a moment the countless lives throughout history whose faithfulness has gone unrecorded, whose sacrifices have been known only to God. The story of Gersham and Eleazar is a tribute to these hidden ones. It is a reminder that every act of love, every moment of obedience, every quiet prayer is seen and cherished by the one who knows all things. In the Psalms, we are told that God remembers that we are dust, that He keeps our tears in a bottle, that nothing escapes His notice. This is the assurance that sustains those who serve in obscurity, who labor in the shadows, who trust that their lives have meaning even when the world does not see. Let us also reflect on the nature of spiritual inheritance, the story of Moses' descendants, particularly the troubling account of Jonathan, son of Gersham, who served as a priest in a context marked by idolatry, is a sobering reminder that legacy is not automatic. Each generation must choose its path, must decide whether to walk in faithfulness or to stray. The silence of Gersham and Eleazar is not merely the absence of their deeds, but an open space in which each new soul must write their own story. This truth invites us to humility, to vigilance, and to hope. Humility, because we recognize that our place in God's plan is not earned by birth or achievement, but given by grace. Vigilance, because we are called to nurture the seeds of faith in our own lives and in those who come after us. Hope, because we trust that God is always at work, even in the hidden places, even when the outcome is uncertain. Pause and consider your own journey. Are there parts of your story that feel invisible? Seasons where your faithfulness seems to go unnoticed? The narrative of Moses' sons assures you that nothing is wasted in God's economy. Every hidden act, every quiet sacrifice, every moment of trust is gathered and treasured by the one who sees in secret. As we move through this section, let us be encouraged to release our need for recognition and to embrace the freedom of serving. For the sake of love alone, the story of Gersham and Eleazar is a gentle invitation to find joy in the hidden life, to trust that our significance is not determined by applause, but by the quiet approval of the divine. If these reflections resonate with you, remember to support this journey by liking and subscribing to The Chosen, God's Messages. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, for your story is a vital part of this unfolding conversation. Together, we are learning to honor the unseen, to embrace the silence, and to trust that every life, no matter how hidden, is woven with purpose and grace. Let us continue, step by step, into the mystery, allowing each moment of quiet faithfulness to draw us deeper into the heart of the divine story, where every life is cherished, every role is sacred, and every act of love echoes in eternity. Let us move with gentle reverence into the penultimate chapter of this journey, a chapter where the silence of Gersham and Eleazar becomes a living parable, inviting us to contemplate the enduring questions of identity, significance, and the unseen currents of divine providence. In the quiet aftermath of Israel's wilderness wanderings, as the nation prepares to enter the Promised Land, the narrative of Moses' sons remains largely unspoken. Yet in this very silence, a powerful invitation is extended to each of us, to find our place in the story, not by striving for prominence, but by embracing the sacredness of being known and loved by God. Imagine the scene: Moses, standing atop Mount Nebo, gazing across the Jordan River, at the land he will never enter. The great leader's journey is drawing to a close, his mission nearly complete. Around him, the tribes of Israel prepare for a new chapter, each with its own inheritance, its own destiny. Yet, even in this moment of transition, the names of Gersham and Eleazar are not called to the forefront. Their story remains hidden, their legacy quiet. What are we to make of this persistent silence? Perhaps it is here, in the hush of unrecorded deeds, that we encounter one of the Bible's deepest lessons, that the measure of a life is not found in public achievement or historical renown, but in the quiet faithfulness of the heart. Gersham and Eleazar, though absent from the annals of leadership, are not absent from the heart of God. Their lives, lived in the background, become a mirror for all who have ever wondered if their story matters, if their contributions are seen, if their journey has meaning. Let us pause and consider the paradox of hiddenness. In a world that celebrates visibility and accomplishment, the narrative of Moses' sons invites us to a different kind of greatness, a greatness rooted in humility, in service, in the willingness to be part of something larger than ourselves. The Psalms declare that God delights in those who fear Him, who put their hope in His unfailing love. This is the quiet assurance that sustains those whose lives unfold away from the spotlight, the knowledge that we are cherished, not for what we do, but for who we are. Reflect, too, on the power of legacy not of fame, but of faith. The descendants of Moses, though not entrusted with the priesthood or the mantle of prophetic leadership, are woven into the fabric of Israel's story. Their presence, though subtle, is a testament to the enduring influence of a life lived in quiet obedience. The story of Jonathan, son of Gersham, serves as both a caution and a call, a reminder that each generation must choose its path, must decide whether to walk in faithfulness or to stray. Legacy is not inherited, it is cultivated, one choice at a time. There is a gentle freedom in embracing the hidden life. When we release the need for recognition, we open ourselves to the deeper joy of serving for the sake of love alone. The story of Gersham and Eleazar is a quiet invitation to trust that our significance is not determined by applause, but by the quiet approval of the divine. Every act of kindness, every moment of faithfulness, every prayer whispered in solitude is gathered and treasured by the one who sees in secret. As we draw near to the close of this journey, let us carry with us the assurance that our stories, however hidden, are part of a grand design. The silence of Moses' sons is not emptiness, but invitation and open space in which we are called to listen, to trust, and to find our own place in the unfolding tapestry of God's plan. If these reflections have touched your heart, remember to support this journey by liking and subscribing to The Chosen, God's Messages. Your presence, your story, your faithfulness are vital threads in this community of seekers. Share your thoughts in the comments, for your voice matters. Together, we are learning to honor the unseen, to embrace the silence, and to rest in the knowledge that every life, woven by the hand of God, is a thread of purpose and grace in the eternal story. Let us arrive, gently and with awe, at the closing chapter of this journey, a chapter that does not end the story, but opens a door to deeper reflection and abiding hope. The silence that has surrounded Gersham and Eleazar, the sons of Moses, now becomes a space for us to listen for the quiet voice of wisdom, to find meaning in the mysteries, and to embrace the profound truth that every life is woven with purpose, whether seen or unseen. Imagine, for a moment, the tapestry of history stretching before you. Each thread, bright or muted, bold or subtle, is essential to the whole. The story of Moses' sons is a reminder that the most enduring legacies are not always those written in the Chronicles of Kings or echoed in the songs of triumph, but those that live quietly in the hearts of the faithful. Their names may not be etched in the marble of monuments, but their presence is felt in the gentle currents of grace that shape generations. That as we reflect on all that has unfolded, let us return to the questions that first drew us into this exploration. Why does the story of Gersham and Eleazar fade into the background? Why does Scripture leave their deeds largely unrecorded? The answer, perhaps, is not a riddle to be solved, but a mystery to be embraced. Their silence is not emptiness, but invitation, a call to trust that God's purposes are always at work, even when they are hidden from our view. Consider the wisdom of the Psalms, which assures us that God knows our frame. He remembers that we are dust. In the economy of heaven, every act of faithfulness, every moment of quiet obedience, every prayer whispered in solitude is gathered and treasured. The story of Moses' sons is a living parable for all who have ever wondered if their life matters, if their journey is seen, if their story has meaning. It is a gentle assurance that you are not forgotten, that your faithfulness is not overlooked, and that your life is a vital thread in the tapestry of God's design. Let us also remember the lesson of legacy not built on fame or recognition, but on love, humility, and trust. The descendants of Moses, though not called to the priesthood or the mantle of leadership, are part of the unfolding story of redemption. Their presence, though quiet, is a testament to the enduring influence of a life lived in the shadow of greatness, yet marked by faithfulness. Each generation, each soul, is invited to choose its path, to cultivate its own relationship with the divine, to write its own story of faith. Pause now, and let your heart rest in the knowledge that you are seen and cherished by the one who knows all things. The silence of Gersham and Eleazar is not a void, but a canvas on open space where your own story can take root and flourish. You are invited to step into the mystery, to embrace the hidden places, to find joy in serving for the sake of love. Alone, as we close this journey, let us do so with gratitude and hope. The story of Moses' sons is not just an ancient tale, but a living invitation, a call to honor the unseen, to trust the silence, and to believe that every life, no matter how quiet, is woven with purpose and grace. Your journey matters. Your faithfulness is treasured. Your story is part of the grand design. If these reflections have resonated with you, Remember to like and subscribe to the Chosen God's Messages. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, for your voice is a vital part of this unfolding conversation. Together, we are learning to honor the hidden, to embrace the silence, and to trust that every life yours included is a sacred thread in the eternal tapestry of God's love. Let us go forward, slowly and with wonder, carrying the lessons of Gersham and Eleazar in our hearts. May their quiet legacy inspire us to live with humility, to serve with love, and to trust that, in the end, every act of faithfulness echoes in eternity.